Well, good evening, everyone. At least it's evening here in Cleveland, Ohio. Don't know where you're joining us from, but it is now 8 o'clock here and unfortunately dark outside as we've turned our clocks back, heading into the winter season. My name is Loretta Sexton. I am the Associate Director of University Housing.
And I can jump in. Hello, everyone. My name is Devin Fabian. I use he, him pronouns. I serve as the Associate Director in the Office of Residence Life, and so working very closely with Loretta and everyone in housing to give you a great residential experience here.
So we have a PowerPoint that we're going to go through. As Edwin mentioned, if you have questions, feel free to put them in the question and answer, and we'll either try to answer as we go along or definitely catch everybody's questions at the end of the session. So let me go ahead and start sharing my screen. And hopefully everybody can see the main page that says Living on Campus. All right, I'm going to start off by talking a little bit about the housing application because I know that's one of the big questions on students' minds. When can I start applying for housing? And we actually did open this up last week. I know we might have a variety of students and family members on tonight's call or tonight's Zoom. And so email communication that went out through the FYI last Thursday walked people through the whole housing application process, but a little bit of just some snapshots here. It's available through our My Housing portal, which is something the students will become very familiar with, as this is the site where they will not only apply for housing, find their housing information, their roommate information, will actively do things on here throughout the academic year. One of the things that they'll be able to do is submit maintenance requests through here. So this will be a site that they will be very familiar with as before they even actually get here on campus. Before students can actually access the housing application, though, we do have to have them upload their photo ID, and it does take up to 24 hours to approve it before they can fill out the application. Our Access Services Office that is in charge of the photo IDs are reviewing these daily. Weekends could be a little bit slower time, but they're doing this on a regular basis so that we can get everybody's ability to fill out their housing application. We do want to let everyone know that our goal is to have assignments for the spring completed by December 29th. And in case you're wondering, well, why is it going to take that long? We do have to wait until the fall semester is over for us to absolutely verify what open spaces we have for the spring. We're going to start doing some tentative assignments ahead of time as we are aware of what spaces will be opening up. And one of the things that I will say is that, sometimes people change their mind. And so we don't want to put somebody into a space that we then have to move because we have to put the fall resident back into that same location. So we do have to wait till the halls close on December 21st so that we do have time to actually do our checking of spaces to make sure that we know who did absolutely move out. Plus, we're also dealing with a few university holidays around this time, which is why we're working with a December 29th deadline. And students will receive an email notification as soon as the assignment is completed that will also pop up in their My Housing portal. And then on the My Housing portal, they'll be able to see their roommate information, whether it's somebody they're requesting to live with, or if they are going into a double room where a student is currently living, you'll have access to information about that student as well as contact information so they can reach out and start to get to know their resident or their roommate. Just going to do a quick little overview of first year housing so everybody has an idea and maybe a reminder if you've been to campus in the past about where the residence halls are located. So I'm going to do a quick little tour here of the residential village. If you notice here in the middle, we have Wade Commons, which is in orange. Wade is the location where our area office is, as well as some meeting spaces and package lockers and things like that. This is where all students will go to actually check in when they arrive in spring, is to the area office in Wade Commons. You'll see over here, just north of there, it'll say Leutner. Leutner Commons is the dining hall on North Campus. And then the cluster of buildings that are around Wade and Leutner are the first year halls. So really quickly here, the Taplin, Taft, Smith, and Cutter, which unfortunately is not in blue. I don't know why. That makes up our Juniper residential community. We have Norton, Raymond, Sherman, and Tyler right over here next to Wade, which is our Mistletoe community. And then we've got the Cutler, Hitchcock, Pierce, and Stores grouping, which is our Cedar Mag community. And then Clark Tower is its own residential community. It is an 11-story residence hall, and so it's a community in itself. There are a few different housing options just based on the style of the buildings. And so this is a quick little rundown of the 3 different styles we have and what buildings are associated with them. The corridor style has the bathroom in the middle with the rooms around it. The quad style actually has 4 quads on a floor where 2 quads share a bathroom in the middle. So it gives us flexibility to have all one gender floors as well as split gender floors in the Cedar Mag location. And then our suite style housing in Clark Tower is 8-person suites where you have 3 doubles and 2 single rooms that share their own bathroom, and there's also a microwave and some other common space in there. What I will say is, and I'm going to click on this link down here below, is please check out our website to look at the facilities for the first year residence halls, where you can actually look at any of these and pull up floor plans so that you can get a sense of what we're talking about here. So this one is just an example of in the Cedar Mag area where you have a bathroom and 2 quads that are connected on a floor. And so there's 2 bathrooms on a floor for each of these quads with some lounge space in the middle. Now, what I will tell you is that our housing assignments are going to be made based on what is open and available for the spring. So students can request a specific either building or community that they may want to live in, and we will try to honor that as best as we can. But because we're going to have spaces scattered throughout our first year and actually our second year housing where first year students will live, we'll try and honor those as best that we can. I will encourage students to look also at the second year buildings because we may have a few students living in our second year halls to get a sense of what those are like in the Murray Hill and the Carlton Road area. All right, so this is my tricky part where I'll have to figure out how to go back to the screen. Here we go. The other thing to keep in mind when thinking about housing assignments is that if somebody has a medical need for a specific accommodation, such as air conditioning, maybe a single room, maybe access to a space that has fewer people using a bathroom, those accommodations need to be approved through Disability Resources. Their contact information is there. I would suggest doing this as soon as possible because they will require some medical documentation. And it will take a little bit of time for them to be able to approve and review all that. Once they make a decision and say, oh yes, this student needs this accommodation, they will notify us and then we will work directly with the student to actually get them the accommodation they need. We also have gender inclusive housing, which is for students who are transgender, exploring gender identity, non-binary, or gender non-conforming. And it's actually dedicated space we have set up in our first year housing. So students who are interested in living in gender inclusive housing can indicate this on their housing application. And we will follow up with them directly about space that we have open and available, but they would essentially be sharing quad style housing in addition to having their own bathroom for those groups of students that live in those quads. little bit about our residential community amenities. And these are things that you're going to find in all of the residence halls. There are full kitchens in the building, usually on the first floor, maybe sometimes in the basement, depending on the building layout. So students do have access to a stove and can do some cooking. I will tell you that there are microwaves not only in these full kitchens, but also on the floors in the first year residence halls, as well as in the suites in Clark Tower. So students should not bring microwaves to campus. We don't actually allow that. There is actually access to them in the buildings. We actually do have laundry rooms in each residence hall. The laundry, some people will wonder, is there a cost for the laundry? Actually, no, it's actually built into the room rate. So students are able to do laundry when they need to. And they can actually sign up for something that's called the Laundry View app, where you can actually download this onto your phone and find and see like are actual machines open and available for me to use, how much time might be left on a machine to stay on top of what's happening in the laundry rooms. And then there's also some indoor bike storage, as well as some game tables and pianos and the gaming tables and pianos are going to be scattered throughout that community, not everything in every building, but the students do have access to the other buildings within their residential community during certain hours of the day, so that they'll be able to access a variety of different gaming tables. So just to give you a little idea about some of the services that are offered, we do have our own dedicated maintenance and custodial staff that only work in our residence halls and Greek houses. These dedicated staff will fix anything that is wrong in a student's room. Could be something that's wrong in a common space in the building, and that would be including in the bathrooms. And we strongly encourage all students to know how to actually submit a maintenance request through the My Housing portal, so that they can get items put in early enough so that they can get fixed quickly. We're always under the mindset that if you see something in a common space, maybe in the lounge, maybe in one of the study rooms, maybe an issue in the bathroom, go ahead and submit that, because you can't assume that somebody else has already done that. We'd rather get 5 messages that there's something wrong than none at all. So our maintenance staff are really good about staying on top of some of the issues that are going on in the residence halls. We do have custodial staff that will clean all the common spaces in the residence halls, including the suites, including the bathrooms. Students are expected to do their own cleaning in their bedrooms. So just something to keep in mind as you're packing with stuff that you're going to bring to campus in the spring. And then our area offices, which are located in our commons buildings on each side of campus where the residential areas are. So North Campus has the majority of the first year halls and upper class housing, with a few second year options. And in Wade Commons is where the North area office is. And then students who may be assigned to South Campus would be going into Fribley Commons to the area office. And that's where you actually will go to check in. This is where you'll get mail and packages that may be coming, whether it's something that we will log at the area office, or maybe something that is logged directly into one of the package lockers. And we do have some Amazon lockers on campus, as well as we use another company where our deliverers can actually put packages right into the lockers. And as soon as an item is put in to either a locker or we log it in our system, the student will get an email that notifies them that they have a package to come and pick up. The area office is actually where you will go if you lock yourself out of your room, which hopefully you won't do, but that's been known to happen on occasion. And so the area office is open certain hours during the day, and so available to students who might need a lockout card to get into their room. After the area office is closed, that's where Devon's staff kicks in, and the residence life staff will assist with lockouts after hours. One thing that is nice is that the majority of the first year students will be living in buildings where they can actually unlock their room door from their phone, if they have their phone on them. If they locked it in the room, not going to be able to happen, but they would be able to actually use the phone to open their door, so it saves them a trip from having to go to the area office to actually get a key. And then also located in the Commons buildings are what's known as the WEPA printing machines. WEPA stands for Wireless Everywhere, Printing Anywhere. Every student on their university ID card will get a certain amount of money each semester that will allow them to do printing at these machines that are located all over campus. So not just in the residential areas and a lot of our main buildings in the academic quads. You'll find that in this university center, in the library, all over, where students can actually send something to a specific machine, and then they can go and log in and have that printed. If you happen to run out of money that is on the ID card, you're still able to either add some additional on or pay for that as you're actually doing the printing on site. So I would say the majority of our students do not bring printers to campus. I'm now going to turn this over to Devin so he can chat about the residence life side of things.
Absolutely. Thanks, Loretta. So as we mentioned, my name is Devin and I work in our residence life office. So we've talked a little bit about the physical locations, the services and amenities. And so now we're going to talk a little bit about the people. We tend to be the people who live and work alongside anyone who lives on campus, whether you're a first year, second year, or an upper class student. So we start off with the next kind of few slides, giving you a sense of who we are. So if you look at the kind of small photo that I've included here, there's quite a few of us. So by the numbers, we have 36 residence halls, about 4,100 undergraduates, which is a pretty big group that we're working with every single day, 365. We have 14 full-time staff members, 13 graduate level staff, and then we have 104 undergraduate student staff. They're going to be the ones that you're probably the most familiar with and see the most whenever you're in and around the residence halls and on campus. So they're kind of the front line, the eyes and the ears, and the ones most focused on your well-being and your experience here. And then on our next slide, just a little bit about who we are within this residential experience. So we always say this is about establishing a foundation for success here at CWRU. So your first year, your first semester with us, your second semester, it's going to be a big transition. Maybe you have some experience elsewhere academically that might prepare you. Others may be coming straight out of high school. So depending on your journey, we're going to work on that transition to college, whatever that looks like for you and your specific situation. That's going to be academics. It's going to be socially, potentially even emotionally. So we know it's a big time. It's a big transition. There's a lot that can change whenever you come to a college and you're living on campus with us. So we try and support you across all of those different dimensions. A lot of that can focus on living in a community for the first time where you're sharing a lot more space than maybe you're used to sharing, with bathrooms and kitchens, a lot of those types of spaces. And also thinking, how are we going to help you through challenges? If there are conflicts, if you have to make some compromises or work through some issues with other people, other residents. But then also a lot of those kind of fun quintessential college things. So thinking about your social connections, making sure we help you feel like you belong here at CWRU, within your floor, within your residence hall, within your bedroom, and then just within every other facet of your time here with us. And a lot of what we do is going to be connecting you with other resources, whether that's health services, whether it's our counseling services, your four-year advisor. We're really looking to support you in the ways that we can, and then help refer you to those experts or those who are going to be a little bit more hands-on for your specific situation. But we're really looking at how we're going to help you focus on your holistic wellness and your personal development across your 4 or so years with us. Our first year communities. So I think we went backwards.
You know, we did, because I'm wondering if we missed some slides. I
I think we just
totally did.
missed this one.
Did we? I apologize for that. If
Oh,
you wanted to
you're
go back.
fine. You're fine. We'll rewind for just 1 second. So I think that the key takeaway for this slide is that these are the leadership teams within Residence Life. So we have 8 full-time, we call them residential community directors. They are master's level professionals who've completed a master's generally in education and who are working with us to support you on a daily basis, not just run the community and keep the buildings up and running and work with housing to support you, but taking the lead whenever there are issues with roommates or providing supervision to the RAs who are going to be helping you with problems. So they're really the kind of leaders of each of their communities. We have 4 for the first year staff, 3 for the second year staff, and then 1 for our upper class students. But I would be remiss if I didn't say we have a wonderful group of graduate students. So they are this year, I think all CWRU graduate students across a variety of programs like law, social work, and they are attaining a degree here, but also working and living alongside all of you as residents and supervising the RAs as well. And then, like I said, we have 100 resident assistants who are your peers. They are undergraduates who choose to live and work within the residence halls, provide support, be on call, provide triage and crisis response, or work through some of the seemingly smaller things like helping you prioritize or work through your scheduling whenever you're scheduling for courses, things like that. So a wonderful team. There's quite a few of us, and we look forward to getting to meet you a little bit more one-on-one in the coming months. I think, yeah. So on to the live action shot, essentially, of the map that Loretta was showing to you. So I like to include it because, one, I think it's really pretty, and it shows that we have quite a bit of green space on our campus and around the residence halls. So along the top in the center of the picture are some of the clusters of the first year communities that she was just mentioning. Really just want to hit home that there's about 15 or so hundred first year students who are living on campus. These communities range from about 280 to a little bit over 400 student residents. But I think the biggest part is that you will have an RA who lives on your floor, and they are assigned to work with you, to make a connection, to support you, to help you, to form a good social connection with you. And they're about 1 RA to about 30 residential students. So it's not the smallest ratio that you might find out there in the country, but I think we do a pretty good job of providing a really good RA to resident ratio so they can get to know you and provide you really good support so that you don't have to wait in line or wait, several days to get a response from them. We're really proud of the connection that we can have with you. And then thinking a little bit about kind of the nitty gritty, as I'm going to choose to call it, about being a first year in our communities. So we're going to focus on some of the things you might imagine. So we call the rules community standards. So we want to hold each other and one another accountable. So this is things like noise issues, or if people aren't cleaning up after themselves, those types of things. We try and set the ground rules of what it's like to live on that floor or live in that community, in that building, so that everyone has a shared expectation of what we're going to do and what we're not going to do. The quintessential thing, RAs will put on programs and events. They're going to focus on trying to help you learn a little bit, but also have some fun. So could be something very, very social like bingo, or it could be something that focuses on your personal and your social development on campus, or helping you as it relates to choosing your academic future or connecting to other offices and services like your four-year advisor, or like the Office of Multicultural Affairs or the LGBT Center. So helping to make connections with those helping services. We know that our communities change every year. So every group of first years from year to year is going to be different. We know the spring group that we have is going to be a little bit different than the fall group because people do move in or move out. Some people will choose to move on to other places or choose to not live on campus, and new people are choosing to live on campus. So it's a very dynamic community, and we're excited to focus on the needs of that community at that time. And like I said, the RAs can focus on really large issues, whether it's a crisis or something really severe, but they're also going to focus on all of the smaller or the seemingly less pressing issues that might be a little bit easier to not focus on, or a little bit easier to put to the side because they're not as pressing. So they're really going to focus on helping you in all of the ways that they can over time. And then I also want to point out, we do have student run, we call them community councils. So they represent our residence hall association. It's kind of like student government for residential students. Each community has their own individual council that is focused on their specific group of buildings or their specific building. Depending on who they represent. So they are students who live on campus, like all of you will. So they will be your peers. We want to give them a voice, and we want you to give them your voice in the ways that they can. So we look forward to talking more about that with you later. And then a little bit about the programs, events, and connections. So very briefly, your RAs are going to have checkpoints, is what we call them. So they're meant to be a little bit of a one-on-one check-in with you. These can be brief, from a 1 or 2 minute check-in in the hallway just to see how you're doing. Or if you're someone who might really want to have a sit-down meeting with them and have maybe a checklist of things you're either working on or questions that you have or things that maybe aren't going so well, they're going to be sitting down with you if you want to have that sit down, and they might be 10, 15, 20 minutes. So it'll really depend on what you're looking for. That's something that you can do individually with them. And then again, programs, whether it's on your floor, across, Taft House or Storrs House, so the building you live in, or Clark Tower. And then we do things across the first year experience as well. So we look forward to doing a welcome event in the spring during that first week whenever everyone moves onto campus. We're going to be doing a late night first year program for everyone that you'll be invited to. And then we're also looking to always collaborate with centers, offices, take you out of the residence halls and get to other places on campus to help you transition successfully here to CWRU. And then I came up with a little bit of that, what to expect, just to get you thinking about it. These are not all the answers of things that you need to know. But thinking about sharing common spaces, like I said, sharing kitchens, sharing bathrooms, you will be sharing with larger groups of people that you might normally be used to, and that is a transition. So really just want to get that onto your radar now. It's something that will be in the physical layout of where you live. A big part of this is also, for some, this might be something you are really good at already. Others, it might be an area for improvement, having to clean up after yourself and potentially others. So with those shared spaces, sometimes they're left in really good shape. Other times they're a little bit messy. There will be cleaning supplies provided. There will be opportunities to have wipes or cleaning supplies or vacuums, things along those lines, to help clean those spaces. And our custodial staff do that every day, but also it's a very big group effort. So the better shape that we leave everything in at all times, the easier it will be to keep them in good shape. But then also things like managing different schedules, and that could be with your roommate or on the floor. So some people stay up really late, others get up really early. And so just thinking about how you're going to manage some of those personal habits, but then also how that might relate to the person you're sharing a bedroom with, and then those around you on the floor using common space, kitchens and bathrooms and things like that. Also thinking about exploring differences of opinion, whether that's individual opinions, ideologies, experiences, or worldviews. And so we have students from all over the world, all over the country, from all walks of life and all different types of experiences and places that they come from with different journeys. So preparing yourself for what that's going to look like and what that might mean to you, and how you plan to represent and engage as an individual with those that you meet, and how that journey will look like for you. Also things like managing downtime, prioritizing, making decisions to allocate that energy. So thinking about how you're going to use your potential based on everything that you need to do in a day. And then scheduling your downtime and sleep. I really want to hit this one home. We have some students who tend to stay up really late and then get up really early because they have so much to do, or they are just very, very focused on what they're working on. But thinking about how you're going to schedule both downtime and sleep, and then stick to that, it will benefit you and it will pay dividends. And then just overall thinking about how you might get out of what your comfort zone is or your comfort zone has been based on where you are now. Because things will be potentially different in January. Your physical location and environment will be different, but you can choose how you respond and prepare for that transition. And just coping with some of those things like noise and a very active residential community. There's hundreds of people living and working and studying and socializing around you when you're living on campus. So it's very vibrant, but it also takes a little bit of getting used to and a little bit of focus to prepare yourself for it. So, and then I think this might be my last slide, but I just wanted to hit home safety and security on campus. I think it's something that a lot of people in our current era think about, and we are no different. So just the understanding that we do have residence life support. These are kind of our overnight hours for the RA on call, we'll call it that. So we have 8 resident assistants during the academic year who are on call, and that is Monday through Sunday. But then we have a whole host of other people who are on call and available 24/7. So our professional staff who are the full-time and graduate level staff, myself, we have a few others who are in the leadership realm who are on call. And we do a 24/7 shift. And then our Dean of Students office, they are on call 24/7. They do about a month at a time. So tons of staff within the student affairs realm who are available to you 24/7 or in those overnight and weekend hours. But then a great deal of campus resources. So I chose just a few that I think are really helpful for you all to know. So the CWRU Public Safety and Police Force who are available for emergencies or non-emergencies that are important to be solved right then and there, or to help you get the answers that you might need based on the situation. And then we also have a counselor on call and a nurse on call who supplement our counseling services and health services, and so available to provide mental health support, physical health support, based on what your needs are as well. So quite a few people who are here to answer your questions and get you the help that you need, whether it's 3 a.m. or if it's 5 p.m. on a Friday. And I'll pass it back along to Loretta to take us home.
All right, thank you, Devin. A little bit of information about the spring move-in process. So our new students will be moving in on Wednesday, January 10th. We're advertising the hours as 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. as there may be some activities happening that evening. We do allow students to check in after 3. So if there are some travel issues or perhaps your flight might be coming in at a different time, you can still check in anytime up until 9 o'clock that night. Just keep in mind that there may be activities happening as part of Discover Days. So you might want to take a look at that schedule when you do have a moment. As I mentioned before, check-in will be at the area office, either in Wade or Fribley Commons. And this is where you're going to pick up your student ID card. If your room has a key or a key card that you need it, you will pick that up there as well as some maybe potential different information that we will be handing out to you as part of the move-in process. What I will tell you is that a lot of our details about move-in are on our housing website that you should absolutely take a look when you have a chance. Some of the most important things are the packing lists. So if you take a look at the packing lists, this will give you a good rundown of what you should or should not bring to campus. Give you some ideas specifically because our mattresses are extra long twin size beds, and this is the measurements so you can get the correct sheets that'll fit the beds. So take a look at this because this is going to be very helpful to you. Please do take a look at the information about what not to bring. Most of these items that are listed on here are against university policy to have on campus. And so we would hate for you to, one of the first things that you're dealing with when you're here is that you brought something that you weren't allowed to bring. So please take a look at that as well. When you go back to the move-in information for the spring, we also have information here about parking during spring move-in, as well as the campus maps and locations. And this will actually list out by residential community where students will be able to unload when they come to campus in the spring. Most of these areas you'll be able to pull up right on the street and be able to unload right there. Once you're able to go in and pick up your ID card. And we just ask that students, once they're done unloading, immediately move their car over to either the parking garage on North Campus or the nearby parking lots on South Campus, so that we're freeing up space on the streets for other students to move in. So please take a look at this when you do have a moment. We do have a map on here that will give you information. So you can take a look at some of the locations for the North Campus drop-off locations. And then just please take a look at some of the other information that's on here, some information about the meal plan, campus addresses, the check-in schedules as well. And if we are updating any information about spring move-in, are going to be adding it right here on our website. So I believe that is the last slide that we had in the PowerPoint. Our general contact information for both of our offices is listed here.